getting enough guys and to finish up. But we had a good day. We got a lot of plays in, got some good work. A lot of the young players that needed quality time on that field in front of a crowd got some quality work. So I felt like we had a great day. We've had a good spring, as I said earlier. Today's normally a game, which is not really much for us practice-wise, but we got to do a practice, so it worked out good. So we got really quality work, and I was excited about the guys and seeing them play today.
Mike, the quarterback, the backup quarterback job is going to be something that's important to you going down. I mean, Spencer, needs a guy behind him at some point.
Right.
So, what did you see from those guys today, and how important is the summer and what's coming up for them?
I thought they played well. Just with the naked eye, I see most of it. Some of it I don't see, and then obviously it looks different when I see it on tape. But I thought that they played well. I thought they competed. I thought they handled the offense well. So they get the summer to train, and then all through August, and then we, hopefully, if we need one in that position, it's when we're ahead, so they can get some actual game experience. But otherwise, I thought they performed pretty well today.
Is there a position group you've liked that's grown a lot this spring?
I think the corners have. I think the linebackers have, and I think the offensive line has. We've just been down a bunch of numbers, and they've had lots and lots and lots of reps, but I think they've improved. We've had a really good spring overall, but I would say those groups with the youth and them improving, yes.
What has that? Sorry, go ahead. You said the other day you wish you had more practices after today. Do you have a better feeling, or what's your feeling at this point?
On what?
Just altogether, you said you wanted more practices.
Well, I always want more practices, and we have to make up some ground in August in the scenarios that we didn't get this spring without having really a second or a third offensive line. So we can account for that in our preparation in August. We'll have 25 offensive linemen in August, so we'll be able to practice 3 groups full speed. And I've keep track of all that, the analytic part of what we missed. So we'll make up for that in August. My right offhand thinking is that we're going to have to get into more contact 11 on 11 a week earlier than we did this spring because of what we lost based on not having enough guys this spring.
What has that been like? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What has that been like, just seeing the offensive linemen who have been active while there have been people down with injuries? What do you think of just kind of all the work that they've had to do?
Well, they've got a lot of reps, and I've told you guys this. I tell them that, man. I mean, it's you're getting a lot of work, more work than you really need, but it's going to help you. Truth known, years ago, that's the way we practice all the time. I mean, those guys, it's hard. They're the 300-pounders. They're the most non-athletic on the field, and they've been getting more reps than all these skill guys that weigh 190 and can run around all day and it not affect them. So there's some toughness that's instilled in them during this process that'll pay off for them as it goes, as we move forward. Now, I'm going to bet if you ask them, they're going to want a smoke break, and they're going to be glad that spring ball's over.
What have you seen? I'm so sorry. You can go ahead.
Go ahead.
What have you seen in Preston Wilson at center since he's taken over there?
Well, he's doing good, but, he was a non-contact guy for us. We could have put him in contact. Wasn't really necessary. He's been here long enough. We kind of know what he'll do in that situation, so we held him out. But he'll get a full run starting in June. He'll get up and running, and then when we go to August and get contact, he'll be up and running.
Tyron made some nice catches today, and then we saw him on the scooter. What did you see from him, and is there any update on Tyron?
I thought he made some good plays. Again, I'm obviously not watching the tape. I can't see everything at once with the naked eye, but I know when the ball was thrown to him, most of the time it looked like he made his plays. And he's learning. Again, he's young. He's a high school player for the most part, and he's out here and competing, so he's making strides. But as those guys do this, the one thing that you get concerned with is if they get beat up. Their bodies are much different at 20 than they are 18. And so, I'm guessing he'll be fine, but either way, I thought he made some plays.
Kind of same situation with Ollie. The fan base is really excited about
Yeah, Ollie had a little, what we call just a mild little shoulder. If his a game, we'd have put him back in. But we're not going to do that in the spring. And he's had a good spring. He's showing signs of progressing, but he's a long ways off. He's, just a high school kid.
CJ Tate probably raised a couple of eyebrows today. Have you
Yeah.
seen that from him
He's made some plays, yeah, and he's been around here a couple years and gets it and's had reps, and he's a good example of the quality reps that we were able to give the threes or the young kids the last 2 years all the way through. I mean, like you guys were at our bowl practice and you saw them, they're getting a lot of reps, and his reps have come from that time, and you're seeing him now today when he got in with the two-some, he was able to make some plays.
And last year with the way the receiving room kind of shaped out, how important is it going to be this year to have all that depth?
Well, it's always every position, and you're referring back to this year when we had zero depth at wideout. And it's important. Those guys are skill guys. We play fast. We would love to play 8 a game and rotate them in and keep them all fresh. We'll see if some of these young guys are ready to play when we get to the first game. But we certainly should have more depth than we had last year at that position.
Are any of those offensive line injuries going to carry over to the fall, or do you expect pretty much all those guys to be back by June or whatever?
I think they will be back by August. Do I know for sure? No. Do I feel like that they will be back by August? Yes. So if they've got an injury that they need to repair or something, we won't put them out there in the summer.
Where would you grade Coach Mason's job so far, where he's taken over the defense, and who do you see as a player that's going to take the mold of the leader out?
Well, he's doing a good job. We limited them what they could do today defensively based on where we're at. So they were somewhat vanilla. And his relationship with the staff is important, is good. His relationship with the players is important, it's good, okay? So the veteran guys, the Tyler Lacey's of the world, okay, Walter Sheeds of the world, really Corey, Jabbar, those guys that have been 25, JT, those guys that have been around and been out there, they're the ones that have to help carry it, okay? When we don't play as coaches, right, we put them in a position, and then they got to grasp it and take off and run with it.
There's been a lot of talk, of course, about Corey and Jabbar this spring, but what about some of the other cornerbacks, Dylan McKinney and Kale Smith? What have you seen in some of the other guys?
They're doing good. They're just young. You saw out here real early in the scrimmage, one of them got confused, turned a guy loose down the boundary over here, and we threw it for a touchdown. They dropped coverage, and I want to say that I'm almost sure that was one of the freshmen. I'm not sure who it was, but those are the things that they have to learn and grow on. So what happens is, even though we've practiced 14 times, we haven't practiced in front of however many thousands of people were here on this stadium when everybody was watching you. There's the difference. So any position we're talking about, particularly, I would not want to be a corner or a safety in today's game and have to be in a position where I'm defending a guy running down the field and there's 80,000 people watching me and the ball's in the air. And that's what they're doing. And so the maturity, the experience, and all that, and with those guys will be very important.
You seem pretty close to the Eli Russ injury. I'm just wondering if you thought that might have contributed to wrapping up practice, or if it was...
Well, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know what goes on in those situations. It could be anything. I always hope. Over my years, I've always tried to measure it by the sounds, and you're wrong. Sometimes it's worse than other. You don't know. So hopefully he'll be fine.
It kind of looked like from the outside, I don't know if this is right, but that you were adding some drives at the end that maybe weren't scheduled. Is that?
Oh, not really. We had them all. We had them all scheduled. In fact, we actually cut one out. But we were rotating the 7 on in between. We would go 1s, 3s would go 7 on, then 2s would come back out to give them a break. But obviously the bad news is takes 10 to have 2 deep on the offensive line, and we only had 7. So those guys were getting doubled up.
Colin Oliver won a lot of one-on-ones, and so did Tyler Lacey. What have you seen from those two over the spring?
Well, they're going to be good players. They're experienced. They've been out there. You know what you're getting from them. Colin had so many reps as a freshman that we have a good feel for him. And obviously, Lacey is a potential NFL guy, stays healthy, keeps working hard, developing like he is now. He's a guy that's potentially going to be draftable and play in the NFL. So we're expecting big things from those guys.
Coach, how have you seen Caleb Etienne? How have you seen his development accelerate because of the injuries?
I'll give you a good example. He's At this time, well, even after the season at bowl practice, when we were giving him a lot of reps, he was a ways away. He's now just a short ways away. See what I'm saying? He's coming along. And he's developing some toughness because he knows which way to go. So, if you don't know which way to go, it's hard to be tough at his position. And he didn't play football for about 2 years because of COVID, and then he came out of New Orleans, went to junior college. They didn't really do much. Then he came in here, and it got thrown on him, and it was hard. Then we started the season. He couldn't play catch-up. And so he's one of those guys, like we mentioned a second ago, that got a lot of reps when we let the young guys go out all the season. And then in bowl practice, he got 12 times of about 10 to 12 plays. So 120-ish or so, I'm not good at math, but somewhere in there he got live reps. So now he's better because of that. So I'm excited about watching him grow and become more physical, knowing now the direction to go.
Sure, I see. Thank you.
You got it, buddy.
Is the fact that he is down another 25 pounds or whatever it is since?
50.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, he's down 50 pounds. I mean, I maybe shouldn't have said it about him, but he looks really good. And that makes a huge difference. I mean, you just image being that massive. And it's not like he's heavy. He's a massive man. And then you're carrying weight. You're out of shape. You're trying to figure out what to do. Everything's new. And you don't know what direction you're going. That's a bad combination. Now he's lost 40 to 50 pounds. He gets it. He's learning. He can think. He doesn't overreact, doesn't panic, and he can become more aggressive, which we all know all he's got to do is be just somewhat aggressive. And he's going to be in good shape because of how big he is.
Kind of speaking to all that, Tyrone Weber, how has he kind of progressed?
The same. He's further along because he got to play last year. Caleb didn't get to play. So he's further along, and I would say his last 5 practices prior to this, he made really good strides based on just knowing what direction to go. Offensively, it's more difficult to play than ever because of the multiple looks and the defense's disguising of coverages and fronts that they get. It was interesting. I was going back and doing some research, and I looked at some video back when Whedon played here, and the defense just lined up. I mean, she follows football. She could have known what to do because she follows it so much. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I can't believe that people played like that. Well, now you almost can't tell what a defense is going to do till after the ball snapped. So that not only affects the quarterback position, but that affects everybody else that's trying to figure out what direction to go. That's the big challenge for offenses now. And that's what defenses are trying to do, create confusion for the quarterback and try to get an unblocked guy.
Is he somebody that can move into the guard position too?
He can do whatever, yeah. He's agile and strong enough, and he's got good enough feet that he can move around. Not that we would, but he could probably play center. Very athletic.
How did you feel about your first pitch last night?
I was good, right? Were you there?
Yep.
It was a strike. Right down the middle, in my opinion. I think the radar's off. I usually float more in the mid to upper 70s. 51's a little less. But I will say this, it's probably close because I didn't loosen up, and I just stepped out there and threw it. And I had to mentally psych myself up to whatever you do not throw it as bad as Mason Rudolph did when he did it. And whatever you do, don't make Josh have to bend over and scoop one out of the dirt. So that was my goal. So fortunately, that was the most pressure I had yesterday. But it actually worked out. Now, I will say this. When I go over there and throw the pitch out, they play really good. I mean, right? And so Josh ought to have me over there more often to throw pitches because I did trigger some really, really good home runs last night.
They're losing right now. You might want to get the bullpen.
I need to get over there. Oh, we are? Okay. 3-1. Well, we get the big boy, the blonde head, get him up there and put one over there on that building. What's his name? Yeah, him. I can't pronounce his name. That's why I call him I was in the batting cage the other day pitching over there, watching them hit, and he's got a blonde streak down his hair. And when he hits, it's like an explosion coming off the bat, so it kind of got my attention. But he's fun to watch. He'll probably put one in the parking lot today and win it. Him or Nolan. Nolan's got some serious pop. Yeah, I was over there the other day. His I'm into baseball now. His exit speed off the bat was floating around 105 to 108. That's pretty good. So
who's your guy then?
in what?
Major leagues, like who's your guy? That you like?
You know, I don't watch a lot of major league sports because I just don't have time. But I will say this: the shortstop for the Padres is fun to watch. I don't know what his name is, but I got kind of hung up on him last year. Have you seen him?
I think so.
He's pretty good. What's his name?
Tatis.
Yeah. That guy's special.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.